Hey guys, it's Kay, aka the Purple Teapot, and today we're going to talk about New Amsterdam Season 4, Episode 1. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share with a friend if you really enjoy it. Guys, we made it to Season 4. Season 4 of New Amsterdam, woo! Yeah, let's celebrate Season 4 seasons of this show, even though there have been not so great moments. I do have to say, Sharpwin saved this episode. But let's get into it. First off, I want to talk about Lovin and Layla and all that. On Tuesday, David did a Q&A. He was asked about Lovin and Layla's relationship and where that would go. He said that Lovin's mom's coming. I actually don't fully trust him because of everything that he said about Sharpwin. He said Lovin's mom's coming and it's going to banner in the works for Lovin and Layla, which I guess would happen. I want to know what's going to happen in future episodes concerning the bribery and the lies, because she literally broke the law and she could lose her medical license. I'm making a prediction that Lovin's mom is the one who finds out that Lovin bribing Hank to get Layla replaced at New Amsterdam, and maybe she uses that as leverage when she asks Layla for drugs, because apparently she's going to be asking Layla for drugs. But also, I do not trust David Shawner. He said we were getting more joy, and we had more joy for about 3 minutes and then it was ruined. I feel like Lovin's mom's going to find out and she's going to be like, oh, you need to give me these drugs or I'm going to tell Layla that you paid for her being your ED. Lovin relapsing is really on the cards. I feel like it's been on the cards for a very long time. Season 2, she broke her soberness for a patient, so it really wouldn't surprise me if it happened again. In this episode, I think Lovin's storyline was underwhelming. It felt like a filler. I know she got to work with Floyd, which was great. I do think that even though they merged the storylines, it still didn't flow as well as it could have. I think they should cut back on even more storylines. I do think it was really bad of her to announce her relationship with Layla to the residents after it was clear that Layla had told her not to say anything and to treat her like everybody else. But as I said previously, I hope Layla can take the heat, because Lovin is about to bring fire. That was just her first day, and Lovin is about to bring the fire towards her residents as she usually does. As I said, she treats them like shit. Layla, I don't know if she's going to be able to cope with that, and I feel like they'll end up bringing that mess home. Now on to Floyd and Lynn. I'm rooting for you. Just don't mess this up. It's not even that hard to mess this up, but just don't mess this up. And I feel like at the end of this season, she's gonna have 2 fraternal twins. One's going to be Floyd's and the other's going to be Claude's, and it's gonna be like a mess. I'm really putting it out there. My prediction, season 4 finale, is going to be Lynn giving birth to her fraternal twins with 2 different daddies. It's possible, because I really do see it. And Lynn is clearly in love with both her husband and Floyd. Also, I was saying that I really like Flynn, but I really need to know more about Lynn and Claude's relationship before I declare them as the end game for myself. There's lots of things that don't make sense. Like, I need to know what their relationship is like at home. As I said, I have my theory that it could be performative, and I don't know who put me in charge, but I'm the crowner. I'm going to crown them endgame. I still think that there's a chance that this ends in misery and he ends up in the arms of some non-black woman, probably Dr. Fuentes, because I'm so scared of this character and what they mean to the show. I'm thinking that Dr. Fuentes and Floyd get together and then they gang up on Sharp, because Fuentes is giving him some on the regular and she's not married. Or maybe she is married. Actually, I really hope she's married so that this storyline that's been going on in my head doesn't happen. But let's get into this episode. Floyd and Lynn really, they've tried, and I don't understand why. I guess it's this connection and chemistry that they have. That means that they hate being apart from each other. They can't stay away from each other. It happened before they even started sleeping together. This episode was so messy with Floyd and Lynn, especially with Floyd and Claude in the operating room and Claude giving him advice because he doesn't know that he's been sleeping with his wife. You know something? When Claude finds out, he's going to get one box in his face. He really is. As I was saying, the more I watch this, the more I wonder how it's going to end. I have no clue. I don't even know if the writers have a clue of how this is going to end, but it's either going to end well or super badly. And if Max is stepping down, this also means that Floyd's job is in jeopardy. Like, if Max isn't there, Floyd is going to get fired. I don't think Max is leaving. Say he did, or he stepped down and someone else was medical director, because that's what it sounds like might happen. It's going to cause a lot of problems for everybody, for Floyd, for Lovin if she gets caught, probably Martin's husband as well. Lynn said that Claude likes Floyd more than she likes Floyd, which which is true. I saw someone tweet, I don't know who it was, and I would put it up if I remembered, that the writers have made it really hard for us to hate Claude. Like, he seems like a nice dude, but like looks are deceiving. I said on stereo I'd really need to know more, but at the same time they only have 45 minutes to tell a story, and they've been telling too many stories, so I don't know how they'd fit that in. Anyways, yeah, Floyd and Lynn, I really like the chemistry that they have. I'm still unsure about where the storyline is going. Tell me what you think about Floyd and Lynn in my comments. On to Max and Helen. It's time. I've been watching the show since March 2019, and we're finally here. First off, comedy. That's all I have to say, comedy. I'm kind of glad they made it a bit comedic and lighthearted, especially because of what happened afterwards. They've always had this banter when they're not frustrated with one another. It's always been unmatched. The fact that they added that soundtrack, it kind of made sense, because it's like their first kiss and their first time making love physically, because they've been eye-fucking since they met. It was a bit messy, and the fact that they added a bit of comedy, it all made sense. I hope I make sense, especially for Max. Like, he's rarely been smooth. I don't know what Helen did to this man, but he was oddly attractive in this episode. Helen really brought out this smoothness that I don't think he ever had with anyone else. He was awkward with Georgia, he was awkward with Alice. I have one gripe, and that is that most of the sex scene we saw on the promos, which is just like, couldn't save some of it, couldn't save most of it. You had to show it all. Like, I get they have to promote the show, but at the same time, me and my friends were like, I feel like they're showing too much, and they did. Like, the only things they didn't show were the things that they probably wouldn't have as adverts. Okay, let's talk about the Sharpwin angst. It's gonna be a lot, it really is. JD said that she wants them to be happy, and I was like, we're not gonna get that. And I was right. I didn't think I'd be so right so soon though. I thought they'd be happy for like at least half this episode, but they weren't. I mean, they still have to keep us watching. There needs to be a balance of happiness and angst. Even though I'm vexed that we didn't get to see more happy Sharpwin, I also understand why we didn't get it. I'm just glad that all the angst is kind of put on Max's shoulders, and it's his turn to make these sacrifices that he hasn't since the beginning. But no one's made sacrifices like Helen has towards him. My friend Nikita tweeted, growth is Max offering to go to London, and she also said growth will be Helen accepting his sacrifice when the time comes. That's what I need to see. Helen doesn't know how to receive sometimes, and she has to learn to. She's enough to receive everything she so freely gives to others, and I love that, because it's like really, really true. We've seen her in the past struggle to accept help. It's almost like she's so used to doing things alone in her personal life. She doesn't know how to do things together. We saw it with Akash. We saw it with Cassian mainly, when he offered to help her with Mina and she was like, nah. We saw it with Akash when he offered to be her sperm donor, but I kind of understand why she said no more to the sperm donor, because she had just met him, or they just started dating. So Cassian and Akash were just really willing to help, and she didn't want it. The difference between Cassian and Akash versus Matt is he's really persistent. He's annoyingly persistent, and especially when it comes to the things that he wants. And I think he knows Helen a lot better than her exes knew her. I feel like they've had conversations clearly that we haven't seen. I would have loved them to show us their friendship a little bit more, because I feel like lots of things are missing and it doesn't make sense sometimes. Yeah, Max has been waiting for his opportunity. As he says, now that he's done all these things with her, he's not just going to let her go. And I think Helen should know that. I think she did know that deep inside. I think that's why she was drawn to him as well. Max was always going to be all in from the start, and she knew that. And I think that's why she was hesitant in season 3, episode 10, and put him in a friend zone that couldn't hold water. I really didn't think she would regret like sleeping with him, but it seemed like she really did. Parts of the storyline didn't make sense. Like, I really wish that we got to see them offer Helen this job. When she was in London, she didn't look like she was happy. I wish we got to see this happiness thing she said that she found when she was in London, but we didn't get to see that, and that's why we were so caught off guard when she said that she was moving to London, as like right after she just slept with him, right after she purposefully took an earlier flight to go see him, and then she turns around and says, oh, we should have done that. I don't know if it's writing or what, but that doesn't make sense. Like, if she told him after she was like hesitant, then I would have got it, but like right after, while he's still kissing on her, like they just had sex, I don't understand why. And I guess they're not going to talk about the ring. I thought she would have asked where the ring was, but I guess she doesn't really care. There was multiple moments where they were going to kiss while he still had the ring on, so I don't think it mattered. I'm gonna say that I really love that I love you scene. It was playful. I really liked it. It wasn't serious. I like that their relationship isn't serious. Part of me thought it would get serious. Well, it is going to get serious because of the relationships that we have seen on this show. They've all been serious. Max and Helen's relationship is like light-hearted and fun, and I like that. I wish we got to see her reaction to him telling her that he loved her, but he did say it in season 1 and she was horrified. I want a do-over of him telling her that he loves her, because we saw his reaction. They've said I love you without saying I love you as well. Apparently there's meant to be an I love you in the shower scene. Maybe that's why they didn't show her reaction to him saying that, oh, I love this woman and she's trying to dump me. I think that even with the angst that we're going to get, we're going to have a fun season for Max and Helen, full of laughter and crying, and I can't wait. Tell me your thoughts on Max and Helen in this episode. I know I didn't touch on everything, but I'm trying. Next episode, it looks like going to get caught by Casey, which is going to be comedic as hell. Also, Helen says that she's finding it hard to trust Matt. That doesn't surprise me. He still has to unlearn some of the habits that he's had, and the fact that he is willing to make this sacrifice is a big step. And I think the fact that he has lost Georgia will push him to do the things that he said, because he didn't do a lot of the things that he promised he was going to do for Georgia. He's always been super scared to lose Helen from the beginning. From episode 1, he was so persistent to make sure that he kept Helen at the hospital. He was more persistent with her than he was with Georgia. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, because everything that's happened while he's had this job, how he got the job, his cancer, his wife, Luna, all that, like New Amsterdam means so much to him. I said to Renee during the hiatus, and we talked about it on stereo, New Amsterdam is where his wife and his sister died, but it's also where he found new life with Helen. It would always be a struggle, him stepping down or quitting and moving. He is going to make that sacrifice, but I feel like Helen is not going to want to come back to London, or she's going to be there for like a month and realize that it's not really what she wants and heads back to New Amsterdam, and they find New Amsterdam like turned on its head because of Dr. Fuentes. These are all my theories. Tell me what you think about this episode and what you're excited about for next week's episode. JD and I are doing a stereo session on Sunday, so don't forget to join us doing that. I want to apologize in advance for the visuals for this video. I don't really have much time to edit, but I still hope that you enjoy my voice and my insight. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody. Bye. My guys, like, Sharpwin's a couple and they're like so cute. I feel like I should get props for not talking about Martin's husband. I really think I should. Hashtag justice for Mary and Chance.